Welcome to another round of Month in Data, in which we look at the facts and figures behind 5 of this month's trending stories. Representatives from China and the European Union agreed to discuss the EU's anti-subsidy investigation in the wake of proposals that could see additional tariffs of around 38% placed on Chinese-made electric vehicles. The EU's position is that China's financial support of their electric vehicle industry creates unfair conditions, so tariffs are needed to level the playing field. Tariffs of this magnitude could pose a threat to Chinese manufacturers that are seeing a boom in EV exports, in which BYD has become the world's largest EV manufacturer. The European market is vital. In fact, this region is the largest export destination for Chinese EVs, accounting for more exports than any other region. But how generously is the Chinese government subsidizing the EV industry? Recent research from the trustee chair in Chinese business and economics made a conservative estimate that between 2009 and 2023, industrial policy spending in the EV sector amounted to $230.8 billion, with spending as a share of total sales coming close to 19%. Much of this amount comes from sales tax exemptions, as purchase subsidies have now been phased out. Prior to the abolition of purchase subsidies, BYD received the equivalent of around 1.6 billion euros, a long way ahead of Tesla, the second largest beneficiary. Increased production volume has seen the value of subsidies increase, but the actual subsidy per vehicle dropped in recent years. China isn't alone in their opposition to the tariffs, with parts of the European auto industry wary of a trade war. The Chinese market is the third largest export destination for European cars, and counter-tariffs would have a detrimental effect on this lucrative market. While Europe's tariffs have been met with some resistance, they are well short of the measures taken in the US. In June, the US government increased their EV import tariff from 25% to 100%. Staying with Europe, the European elections took place at the beginning of June, with around half of all voters turning up to the polls. The results largely matched early predictions of a rise in right-wing populist parties in the EU. Of the 720 seats allocated by each country proportionally to their population, most were won by the EPP. The centre-right bloc includes Conservatives and Christian Democratic parties. Being the most populated country in the EU, Germany holds the most seats, followed by France and Italy. This European election showed again a clear political divide between West and East Germany, where the far-right Alternative for Deutschland gained the most votes. Overall, AfD scored 16% of votes across Germany, and in what was seen as a message to the German government, Chancellor Olaf Scholz's party received just 14% of the votes, their worst result ever. While Olaf Scholz remained largely silent following the results, the same couldn't be said for the French President Emmanuel Macron. Rassemblement National, the party led by Marine Le Pen, achieved close to a third of the vote, prompting Macron to dissolve Parliament and announce a snap election on June 30th. This is widely seen as a risky move, but one which he hopes will net a clear majority. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's Fratelli d'Italia party gained significant ground, taking close to 30% of the vote. This represents a swing towards the party of more than 20% from the 2019 results. Italian anti-fascist activist Ilaria Salis won not just a seat in the European Parliament, but also her freedom from house arrest in Hungary, based on the immunity given to EU lawmakers. June is Pride, with Pride marches and other events taking place around the world. Pride Month honours not just the 1969 Stonewall riots, but commemorates the years of struggle to achieve equal rights for the LGBTQ+ community. The world is undoubtedly a very different place than it was at that time, but same-sex relationships still remain outlawed in several countries around the world, and opinions on matters such as same-sex marriage still vary greatly. This year, the first Ukrainian Pride event since Russia's invasion took place in Kiev. However, due to safety fears, it lasted only 10 minutes before the police decided to disperse the crowd. As of 2024, the death penalty can still be imposed for private, consensual same-sex sexual activity, showing strong advocacy is still needed. 2019's New York Pride celebration currently remains the largest Pride event in history. Marking 50 years since the Stonewall riots, approximately 5 million people attended in Manhattan alone. Some good news regarding the ICUN Red List of threatened species, with the upgrading of the Iberian Lynx from endangered to vulnerable, continuing its recovery from near extinction. The population of the Iberian Lynx has increased from just 62 mature individuals in 2001 to more than 600 in 2022. Today, there are more than 2,000 of these creatures in the wild. The growth in numbers is no coincidence and has involved a concerted effort. Improving the number of its prey, safeguarding and restoring Mediterranean scrub and forested habitat, and decreasing deaths caused by human activity are some of the conservation goals for this species. Currently, the ICUN Red List reports that more than 44,000 species are threatened with extinction, including more than 1,000 mammal species. Madagascar is home to more species of flora and fauna at threat of extinction than any other nation. The recovery of the Iberian lynx has given experts hope, demonstrating that endangered species can be rescued from the brink of extinction through dedicated, science-based conservation measures. Staying on the animal kingdom, a jogger was hospitalised after wolves attacked her in a wildlife park west of Paris this month, in an area of the park reserved for vehicle-only safari tours. Around 800 animals roam the park freely, while visitors can observe them from the safety of their vehicles. Whether the attack was a result of misadventure or inadequate signage is unclear, but it does serve as a reminder of how unpredictable and dangerous wild animals can be. Predators such as bears, wolves and sharks are often regarded as some of the most dangerous animals in the world, with tragedies such as the loss of Pirates of the Caribbean actor Tamayo Perry to a shark attack often making the headlines. While of course potentially dangerous, these creatures are far from the world's deadliest. While it might not surprise you to hear that a creature called the assassin bug is high up the list, it is the mosquito that causes more human deaths than any other creature. Estimated to cause the deaths of more than 1 million humans per year, mosquito-borne disease malaria caused more than 600,000 deaths in 2022 alone. This is why hundreds of millions of dollars are spent on malaria research worldwide, not just on drugs, but also on vector control. If you're interested in learning more about these topics and countless others, head on over to Statista.com and join us next month for another round of Month in Data.